He had taken a wrong turn. His navigation system failed. What he found instead was a fleet. They were looking for him for 6 years.
Navigation technician Rael Doss had made a career of being unremarkable. Not deliberately, not as a strategy, simply as a consequence of being the kind of person who was very good at the technical work and very quiet about being very good at it. 6 years in the Concordat Transit Authority, keeping navigation systems calibrated across the outer transit lanes, and the most significant thing anyone had said about him in his quarterly reviews was reliable and thorough, which were exactly the words you used for someone you trusted and would not notice if they were gone. He had not expected to become remarkable on a Thursday. The navigation failure happened 3 hours into a routine calibration run through the outer Corvina sector. A system fault that his training had prepared him to handle but which, in the handling, had redirected his transit vessel across 2 sectors and into a region of space his charts listed with a specific notation that no Concordat personnel were currently stationed there and transit was therefore unmonitored. He arrived, trailing the signature of a malfunctioning drive system, into the middle of a fleet. Not a small fleet. A fleet of the kind that suggested the civilization that had assembled it had been building it for a purpose and had been at that purpose for some time. 40 vessels at minimum, arranged in a formation that his transit authority training identified as a waiting formation. Not patrol, not transit, but deliberate holding. Waiting for something. His communication system activated before he could attempt contact himself. "Human vessel," said a voice. "You will reduce speed and prepare to receive a boarding party. You will not be harmed if you comply." He reduced speed. He complied. The boarding party was 4 black-armored soldiers with the bearing of people who had done this before and intended to do it efficiently. They escorted him from his navigation bay to a larger vessel in under 12 minutes, which he spent counting and cataloging details the way people catalog details when they are trying to stay calm. He was taken to a command bay. She was standing when he entered. He had not seen a member of the Vethari Imperium in person before. They were in his cultural briefing materials as a species that kept primarily to their own systems and conducted limited Concordat contact, described as tall, pale blue-skinned, typically reserved in direct interaction. The woman in the command bay was all of those things and none of the description in the way that descriptions always fail the actual person. She was wearing battle armor and a crown, which was a combination that suggested she was not in this fleet for decorative purposes, and she was looking at him with golden eyes that had gone very wide in an expression he did not immediately have a category for. Not threat assessment. Not the calculation of someone deciding what to do with an unexpected arrival. Recognition. "You are Rael Doss," she said. It was not a question. "Yes," he said carefully. "How do you know my name?" She crossed the command bay in several steps and stopped close enough that he could see the emerald in her crown catching the light, and she did something he had not expected. She raised both hands to the sides of her face in the gesture he would later learn was the Vethari physical expression of the specific emotion of finding something you had stopped expecting to find. "I have been looking for you for 6 years," she said. "I don't understand," he said. "I'm a navigation technician. Calibrate transit lanes. There's nothing in my file that would." "Your file," she said, "is not why I have been looking for you." She looked at him with those golden eyes. 6 years ago, a Vethari research outpost in the Hulvari sector suffered a cascade navigation failure. Their distress beacon was broadcasting on a frequency that was outside standard monitoring ranges. Concordat sensors would not have detected it. He stared at her. A transit technician performing routine calibration in the sector picked up the beacon because his calibration equipment was configured to monitor broader frequency ranges than standard protocol required. He paused. He reported the signal, triggered the rescue response, and was gone from the sector before the response team arrived. The outpost records his call sign only. RD7 is 7. His call sign. 6 years ago. The Vethari sector calibration run that he had noted in his log as a frequency anomaly, filed the report, and gone back to his calibration work because that was what you did. There were 43 people on that outpost, she said quietly. The cascade failure was projected to become total within 6 more hours. The rescue reached them with 4 hours remaining. He did not know what to say. I was among the 43, she said. I was a junior research assistant at the time. I am now, as you can see. She gestured slightly at the armor and the crown. In a different position. She looked at him. I have been trying to find RD7 since I had the resources to look. The Concordat Transit Authority records are not accessible to Vethari inquiry, and the call sign alone was insufficient for direct identification. Until I stumbled into your fleet with a broken drive, Rael said. Until you stumbled into my fleet, she confirmed. Your vessel's registration carries your name. He absorbed this. 6 years. 43 people. A report he had filed and forgotten about because filing reports was what you did. And then you went back to your calibration work. I never knew if anyone got there in time, he said. They did, she said. Because of you. She looked at him with those golden eyes, carrying 6 years of searching in them. My name is Verith. I am the first princess of the Vethari Imperium, and I have wanted to say thank you to the person who saved 43 lives with a routine report for 6 years. He paused. Thank you. Rael Doss, navigation technician, reliable and thorough, stood in the command bay of a Vethari Imperial vessel and received 6 years of gratitude for something he had done in the course of doing his job, and found that the ordinary work of a quiet person, done correctly, could turn out to be anything but ordinary. You're welcome, he said. It was insufficient. He could not think of anything sufficient. Stay, Verith said. There is much to discuss. He stayed. Some people become remarkable without knowing it. Some acts of ordinary care are extraordinary to the people they reach. And sometimes the most significant thing you ever do is file a report and go.